Welcome to Indiana Sports Beat Radio, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Looks over the middle, second guesses, fires, throws. Does he make the catch in the end zone? Yes! Touchdown! Oladipo to win it.
Another one!
He got
Another one!
Oladipo!
Another one! Huge hole! He's at the 30! He's gonna go! 10, 5, touchdown! Jonathan Taylor!
Galloway finds Rob Finnessy, who fires the three, and
He hit it!
Now, from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, here's your host, Jim Coyle.
Hey, welcome in. It is Thursday. It is a beautiful, beautiful day, and that's not just because Dustin Schutte's here. It's actually just gorgeous out here. But he's back. Look who's back. Slim Shady is back, baby. The real Slim Shady. Dustin Schutte. How are you, brother?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'll be even better once this move is finally completed. It's been crazy the last couple of weeks, but I'm glad to be here and glad to see you're outside at a golf course enjoying the nice weather. That's always fun to see.
Absolutely. I'm sitting out here, of course, outside the golf club at Eagle Point, from the Eagle Point Studios, where we're getting ready for the Never Lose Hoop golf outing. Psalms, food. It's going to be just an incredible fun day. This weather, I personally ordered this weather, and it came in just as ordered. No humidity, low temperatures, and it's going to be spectacular. It's beautiful out here.
That's great. There's nothing better than being on the golf course and like on a perfect day like that, where you can just go out, hit. You don't even care I should reframe that. You do care what you shoot, but you're just happy to be outside for 18 holes, and especially, Jim, because you're there for it's such a good cause, and a lot of people out there supporting Jordan Holes and his foundation and everything. It's a great day. I love when things come together like that, where you have a great day, great turnout, and it's all for a good cause.
Yeah, absolutely. Normally, competing is at the top of the list, but today that is not going to be it. It's just go out, have fun, and raise money for our area kids with cancer. But yeah, looking forward to that. Looking forward to afterwards dinner, like I said. So it's gonna be a fun day. I'm just glad I'm out here early and enjoying this morning, to be honest with you, because it is. Without yesterday, it was really humid, but then the humidity is gone again. So got that out of here, baby. Looking forward to it. Saw Ryan Kramer and Sherry Biggs last night. They drove down. Listeners drove down from northern Indiana. They're playing today. I know that Jennifer's got a team on the way up from Evansville. They're playing. So looking forward to that as well. Just looking forward to having a great day. What's new now? Now can we talk about it now?
We can, but hold on. I got a question.
I know. Oh, okay.
No, I got a question. We can talk about whatever we want to talk about, but my big question for you is, now typically at an outing, there's longest drive and closest to the pin. Which do you have a better shot at winning?
What's in the middle?
Guy who had the most fun?
Yes. I am this close to being mediocre, baby. Just this close. No, it's not going to be the longest drive. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah.
And if it's closest to the pin, that's just going to be strictly luck. I know obviously it's going to be on a par 3. That's the closest to the pins for those of you who don't play. Whenever you have a closest to the pin contest, it's on a par 3 because it's only ones you have a shot at hitting the green, at least for your people, mortals like us. But I know one of the 3 par 3s they have when I was coming up to the clubhouse here, it's not going to be on that one because I saw they were putting the pin, and I'm like going, oh, hell. It's a long par 3, but the green kind of goes back left, and they were putting the pin in the far back left. I could see. I'm like, what are you doing to us, man?
What my lone hole in one story is that I was playing at a golf course in Georgia. This was probably 10 or 15 years ago, and the pin placement was on a bit of a slope. It was right on the ridge of this slope. So I saw the golf ball, I hit it to the right, and it was coming down this hill to the left directly at the pin. and immediately it disappeared once it got to the pin. Disappeared. So I had a hole in one. I was ecstatic. Drive up there to the green, look in the cup, no ball. It had rolled down the hill and into the water.
I thought this was going to be a hole-in-one story, man.
It was so deceptive. It was so deceptive that it was right. That pin was right on the edge of that slope, and as soon as it hit that slope, it disappeared. My brother was with me. It wasn't just me. We both thought that the ball, when it disappeared, we thought it went into the hole. But it was so deceiving. I'm sure I'm not the only one when they have that pin placement at that particular golf course who has had that kind of devastation.
Yeah, that hole in one you speak of, nothing I have to worry about.
No, me neither.
I will not. I just, of course, I'm not gonna say it's never gonna happen because it's just luck. And well, I can't say that. For some people, it's not luck. For those guys that are very skilled golfers, it's not luck. But for those of us mere mortals like us, it's just strictly luck. You just happen to hit a good shot and on that day, and you get the roll, baby.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe it happens. But see, it's an expensive venture when it happens to you. You got to buy everybody in a bar a drink. That's golf etiquette, folks. That's another thing. It's an expensive endeavor. Getting a hole in one.
It's a double-edged sword because if you do it alone, then you don't have to buy anybody a drink. But at the same time, nobody's going to believe you. Nobody's there to witness it. So there's no. I guess I would rather celebrate and buy a round than hit a hole in one on a course when I'm alone.
Let's see what Jennifer's asking is will two boxes of balls be enough? Well, I guess when you say box, are you talking about 12 or 24?
I would say two. Yeah.
Is that per person? They sell more. It's like Relay's potato chips. They sell more. Yeah, so
that's right.
They've got them in the pro shop.
And around this time, you can find them. Usually you can get 1 or 2 boxes. You can get a BOGO deal. That's what I always go for. I don't need the expensive kind because they're going to get lost anyway. So
I am still living on my absolute incredible smart purchase of 2 years ago off of Facebook Marketplace. A gentleman in Martinsville, Indiana, was selling 26. I think it was 2,600 or 1,600. Anyway, it was on $60.
yeah,
It was 20. It was 26 double wrapped Kroger bags, filled of golf balls. 26 of those filled for $60. I don't know how many Pro V1s were in there. He had just been like finding them and collecting them and whatever. I've been playing. I've got a gigantic garment bag that most of them are now in. I just go in there and scoop out a handful every now and then when I need some. I will not buy golf balls for 5 years probably.
If even that, you might even last longer. That's crazy because you go to a pro shop or you go to a Dick's Sporting Goods or online shop, you could Titleists. Those can range into $50 for a 12 a box of 12.
And they're not going to affect my game one bit, so I am not spending that money, and I'm going to lose it on top of it. Big shout out to Andy Moore Honda. We forgot to do that on the intro, our sponsor, as well as our great friends from the WOW Club, the WOW Network. They'll all be out here today as well. Looking forward to that. So I'm looking forward to eating. Man, I've been running around so much I haven't had a thing. So I'm looking forward for those bagels to showing up. I know they're going to be getting here. And I can't wait. You've had a change here of late. If you notice, Dustin's not been on the show for the last week or two, but it's because he's been busy. He's not just been shunning us. Wow, that's twice. I've got to use that this week. Shun. All right. I've got to use the word shun twice this week. He hasn't been shunning us. He's been moving. And where have you been moving to, first of all?
So I'm in the process of moving all my stuff from Kennesaw, Georgia to Gainesville, Florida. So that's part one. That should be done by Monday. So hopefully everything's, I'll still have to unpack and do some of that stuff, but hopefully I'll be in the new place and ready to go in Gainesville on Monday. And the other part of it is making the transition from Saturday Tradition to outsider.com. Doing sports, writing some outdoors stories. I tell you what, we're speaking about it. The thing that already that I love about this new job is I've had the opportunity to write, I think, 5 or 6 golf stories in the past 2 weeks, and that alone has been worth it to me. So it's been a great transition for me, and a little bit more free time than I've had in the past. Now, the past couple weeks, it's all been dedicated to moving, but in the future, having a little bit more free time and the opportunity to continue to do this show is everything I could have asked for.
There's nothing better than just being happy, man, and especially in being happy in what you do. So yeah, that's got to be very exciting. What are you looking forward most? What can we expect to coming besides the golf? What are some other things that you're going to be tackling?
Pretty much everything. We go from the NFL to golf to boxing. We've hit a lot of the PGA Tour, the LIV stuff, NBA stuff. It's pretty much all encompassing. But the other thing about this is too that I've really enjoyed is outside of the sports, I've also had the opportunity to write some unique stories about the outdoors, wildlife type stuff. So like the other day, I just wrote a story about a horse that falls asleep when it's time to do its chores.
What?
We
wrote. Did you say a horse?
A horse, yeah. So if you approach this horse, the horse's name is Sugar. I don't know where this was, but if you approach her with a saddle, she just lays down and pretends to go to sleep, so she doesn't have to work.
That's hilarious.
So it's that stuff, and
mine would just run.
I think most horses would run away, but she's developed a new strategy. So
that's a good one.
It's pretty funny, but that's the kind of stuff where it allows you to be more creative. I love, that's not a lot of what we do, but from time to time, getting those stories to just kind of push your comfort zone a little bit. It's fun to write those stories. You wouldn't think, having been a sports writer for the past 10 years, that would be something that interests me, but it's a chance to be creative, a chance to do something different. So I actually enjoy dipping into that kind of field too.
Man, Thursday's going to be fun day from now on. Thursday fun day with Dustin. We're just going to make it fun day. Later on today, I know Jalen Hood-Schifino is going to be meeting with the media. I'm not sure if I'm going to be on that one today or not. I know the Hoosier.com will be on there, but we'll have it for you regardless tomorrow. As I believe each week we're going to be talking to a player. I'm going to be out here in the middle of this golf outing today, and I don't think I'm going to take off the time to do that. So I'm probably going to miss that one. But let's see. I'm trying to read. I'm out here. I meant to bring my glasses, and I did, but I left them over in the golf cart. Tom says he has belonged to private golf clubs where that. Read that. Somebody else read that for me. I can't read it.
Tom says I've belonged to a private golf clubs where I had a hole-in-one protection. If I make an ace at a non-private club, I feel I owe a libation to those in my playing group, but not to strangers.
That's kind of just keep it down. Just don't make it do it loudly. Just going, hey, you guys want a drink? Just act like you're buying a drink for the guys, and
exactly. That's a good strategy.
Yeah, but trust me, where I am, these guys, nope. They know you. They're not going to let you get away with jack. But it's all in fun. But if I actually get a good hole in one, it depends on where it is. It also depends on where you are too. That can get bad. We got lots more coming up, man. Lots to talk about. Chris Denari is going to be on today. Kind of a big day. Kind of a big day for the Pacers, huh? Tonight, in the NBA draft, we'll finally find out where the ping pong balls have lied and who's going to get whom, who's going where. who's going to be playing for whom. We'll get Dustin's thoughts on that as well when we come back. Plenty more. Brought to you by our good friends from Barbara Pop Realty Services in Southern Indiana. If you're down by Louisville, Jeffersonville, New Albany, all that in Southern Indiana area, make sure you reach out to Matt at barbarapop.com. They have got you covered complete. Back with more Indiana Sports Beat right after this.
We'll be right back to the golf club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Whether you're visiting.
All right. So Gainesville, Florida, huh?
Gainesville, Florida.
Land of the Gators. Have you ever been to a Florida football game?
No, I'm hoping to be able to do that. I'm hoping to be able to do that this year. Since my brother works there, we are able to get some tickets. So hopefully I'm hoping to be able to get to one, and then hopefully maybe a few other college football games throughout the course of the year.
Sweet.
Mark off another stadium or two in the Big Ten and the SEC.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to do it this year. I think next year my wife and I are going to start our annual journey of going to an away team's stadium in the Big Ten.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. I started it and then I moved. So
because I've never been to a single road venue.
Let me kill me with this food smell.
If you do this, my best friend and I have done this, and hopefully we can return to this since I'm now single and got the opportunity to do this again. But we started our journey for every
hit people out there. He's single. You got somebody to hook our buddy Dustin.
I'm just saying.
Wait a minute. You're moving to Gainesville, Florida. I don't want to hear you talking about being single.
What's that got to do with it?
Was Gainesville like the land of the ladies or something?
Well, there happens to be a particular university there that is pretty well known for it.
I mean, I'm way too old.
He's going to go start hunting down the 22-year-olds.
I was not others around the college town, the people that work there. It's a college.
What were you finish your thought from earlier, Dustin, before Jim?
So this is my recommendation. My friend and I did this when I was living in Indiana, and I hope we can continue our Big Ten venture this year. But we did a Michigan and Michigan State basketball game in the same day. Michigan tipped off at noon. Michigan State tipped off at like 6 or 7. And it was a busy day, but that was a lot of fun. If you get the chance to do that, because the campuses are only like an hour and a half apart.
Yeah.
You can't really do it for football because
I did Indiana Michigan basketball and the Big Ten football championship in the same day. Ann Arbor and Indianapolis.
Nice.
Yep.
Morning, Matt.
Good morning. What's up?
Are you ready for the NBA draft, Matt?
Let's go. Let's go. Yeah. Is that today? Let's go. All right.
He's got
even better.
He's got no dog in that fight, baby.
No, but 15. Let's go. We need to prosper. We got to prosper in downtown Indianapolis. Let's go.
Right. I got
Monday through Friday. If we're not on a station where you live, we should be. Ask for Indiana Sports Beat Radio. This segment is brought to you by Southern Stone Restaurant. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio. On this Thursday, it is a Chamber of Commerce weather day. Dustin Schutte co-hosting as always, and now joined by our good friend Matt Taylor from the Indianapolis Colts. How are you, sir?
I'm good. What's going on, guys? What's happening?
I hope it's as nice about an hour northeast of here in Indianapolis as it is right here, because, brother, this is like, if other than having an ocean, I feel like I'm in Southern California.
Yeah. No, I mean, we need a day like this because, my gosh, it's been sweltering up here. It's been bury your head in the sand hot up here. It's been It's a 3 t-shirt type of weather. But no, it's been good, and hopefully today stays like it is because need a change of pace. Need a change of pace for sure, but heading into a good weekend, I hope.
Do love a change of pace. And I was kind of kidding, but tonight is the NBA draft. Of course, you have nothing to do with that. But do you follow the Pacers much? Do you have time?
Yeah, I mean, casually. Yeah, I mean, I would describe myself as a casual fan.
Yeah,
the time that I do have, but obviously it's a franchise that's been sort of switching gears, right? They've been in drive, the early 2010s, and then sort of in neutral, if you will. I don't know if that's a good analogy, but certainly it's. Listen, I'm all about this city, this town. It means a ton to me. So anything that helps.
We built this city,
That's right, Jefferson Starship. Let's go. Good drop right there. We did build this city, and so we're looking for more. We're looking for more building blocks.
Maybe Peyton could say he built this city.
Yeah, or Reggie. So no,
Reggie show,
anything that generates interest, anything that generates buzz, and gets the franchise back in the drive mode, if you will certainly help everything. So. No, I mean, the Colts are rooting for it. I know the Pacers are obviously, highly invested in what's happening, right? If I have that right, it's their first single-digit draft pick since 1989, which is just absolutely mind-boggling, which I think, obviously they should get credit for that. They should get credit for that because they have been a good franchise. They haven't been, a bad team
they haven't
in
sucked.
that time. Right. So, but in the NBA, obviously, it's a tough spot to be in because you want to compete at a higher level, but how do you do that? You have to be, you have to be high up in the draft, and you have to be, available to get a player that can come in and sort of transform the franchise.
Speaking
there you go.
Yeah, I was going to say, speaking of creating a buzz, Matt, I saw today that I think already 2 home games for the Colts have sold out. Maybe that number is a little bit higher now. I'm not sure, but there's a lot of buzz now with Matt Ryan in town, with the new draft picks, with the success this team had a season ago, and just narrowly missing the playoffs. I know we're getting closer to the NFL season, but it seems that buzz around Indianapolis is palpable.
No, 100%. I mean, the Chiefs game was sold out, and then the Monday night game later on in the season, I think it's the weekend of Thanksgiving. So the Sunday night of Thanksgiving weekend, or the Monday night of Thanksgiving weekend, the Steelers game is sold out. So you got 2 out of 8 so far. And, I think internally the goal is to sell them all out. They were close in doing that last year. So they're well on their way. Now, obviously having some home marquee matchups, opponents coming into Lucas Oil Stadium, that helps. The Chiefs come in, and that's the first time that Patrick Mahomes will play a game as the starter at Lucas Oil Stadium. The Steelers sort of speak for themselves. Historic franchise, great fan base that travels well. Pittsburgh to Indianapolis, that's a doable drive. I'm sure that has something to do with it. But their goal, I know internally within the franchise, is to have all of those games, home games, sold out. And quite frankly, I think they'll do it. I just think it's a matter of time.
And I'm going to apologize if you've, excuse me, I haven't been on in the past couple of weeks, but anything that I know it's hard to kind of take this stuff away, but anything that you noticed or any big takeaways from the offseason OTAs or from minicamp or anything like that these past couple of weeks for the Colts that caught your eye as we went into the 2022 season?
Yeah, I mean, the first one obviously is Matt Ryan. I mean, he just absolutely looks the part. The accuracy, the completion percentage, but just more so the intangibles, the leadership, how he's carrying himself, how you can see him commanding the huddle. So that's the big one. And then storyline wise, it's the receivers. The Colts to this point still haven't felt the need to go out and sign a veteran wide receiver, and they're pretty high on the guys that they think can graduate to, newer roles, I should say bigger roles or newer heights, if you will. So it's interesting right now. They've got 12 wide receivers on the roster. They're probably going to keep 6. 4 of those 6 spots you think are pretty secure between Michael Pittman Jr., Alec Pierce, Paris Campbell, and Ashton Doolin. So that means you've got about, I would say, 8 guys combining or vying for 2 spots. Desmond Patman, Mike Strawn, a guy like DeMichael Harris, Kiki QT, who has had success in the league with the Houston Texans. So that's going to be interesting. Will the first couple of days of training camp, and when you put the pads on and you start playing, real football, if you will, will the Colts still feel the need to, stave off that veteran free agent market in terms of what's available to them at wide receiver? And then on defense, Darius Leonard dealing with his ongoing ankle injury, and then it's a back, and are the two related? I think that they are. I think the Colts finally have it sort of locked down and pinpointed that they can alleviate two things with this minor back procedure. They think he's going to be back in time for the start of training camp, if not a couple of days into, when practices started up at Westfield. Kari Willis's retirement obviously throws a little bit of a wrinkle into things on the back end of the secondary, but I think it's debatable to see or to wonder rather if the Colts saw that coming a little bit, considering they were aggressive at that position in the offseason between the draft and free agency. Armani Watts comes over from the Chiefs. They signed Rodney McLeod from the Philadelphia Eagles. They draft Nick Cross, who they're incredibly high on. He's a rookie guy. So that's going to be interesting to see how that unfolds. So those are some of the things that sort of manifested themselves during the course of OTAs and minicamp. But certainly there's a buzz, as you said, going back to the ticket conversation that we had earlier. And it's just exciting to see what this team can be, and knock on wood, what needs to happen now. Everybody's clamoring for just stay healthy, get time on task, which they didn't do last year. I mean, they're already way ahead of the game compared to years past because they had an off-season workout program. They actually performed OTAs. They went through a mini camp. Now they just need to stay healthy through training camp and get those pivotal, pieces time on task with one another, because that just didn't happen last year because of all the injuries to major players.
And I know that the Colts have added a lot of pieces, as you say, but still they're not done. Terry McLaurin there's some interest, been battered about a possibility. He's not happy where he is and could become available, and that could become kind of the final offensive piece, I guess you'd say, for Matt Ryan and company.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, obviously it's a local connection, right? Local guy from Indianapolis, went to Cathedral High School. And, I don't know necessarily about his situation. I know he wants to get paid. And you're seeing that across the league with guys going into their fourth year. He's on last year of his rookie deal, DK Metcalf, McLaurin, some other guys, we saw that with AJ Brown. He wanted to get his. And so I don't know if he's necessarily unhappy with where he is. It's just contractually, he thinks he's overperformed what he's getting paid. And guess what? I mean, join the club. I think.
Well, I was going to say, I think that too, Matt, but nobody's coming to, I'm getting no help here.
I don't think that's an independent thought right there, but so it's wherever he goes, he's going to want to, jump up the dollar signs in terms of what he's getting in contractually. So, I think it's a slippery slope right now with what we're seeing in the NFL with these wide receivers. I mean, it's tough to pay your quarterback, close to 30 and sometimes more, if you're Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady or, Patrick Mahomes, and then pay your wide receiver close to $30 million. I just don't know if that's feasible. I mean, if you're going to pay those two guys that much money, the rest of your roster, man, you're shopping at Dollar General. I mean, there's only so much money to go around. There is a salary cap. I don't think people realize that. That's why I think, you saw the Chiefs, be willing to depart with Tyreek Hill. And, before the offseason, you would have never have thought they would do that. But, if you have a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers, those guys can elevate the games of other pieces around them. So I just don't know if that's feasible. So we'll see how it all plays out. And I'm not sure what happens with McLaurin, but he's a great player. There's no question about that. And we saw that, we saw the seeds of that at Cathedral, then Ohio State, and now he's turned into a borderline, superstar wide receiver in the NFL. 2013
Indiana Mr. Football. I'd forgotten that Tony Siragusa had played for the Colts.
Yeah.
Sad story with him passing away at early at age of 55 yesterday, but I'd forgotten that he played for the Colts. When was that?
That was
1990 to 96, I believe.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I have just my very first Colts memory. I remember going to a game. I think it was Monday Night Football. I think they played the Miami Dolphins. I don't remember much from the game, but what I remember is back when I was 6 or 7, my dad took me to that game. The guy sitting next to us asked, "Who's my favorite player?" And I said, "Tony Siragusa," probably at that age because of his name, right? I didn't probably know much about football, but I love the name. I love saying Tony Siragusa or calling him the Goose. Mm-hmm. And the guy beside me, I remember nothing about the game. I don't even remember who they were playing. I know it was Monday Night Football, but I remember the guy beside me made me a what do you call those? Like an origami goose. And wrote Siragusa on it. That's my very first Colts memory. So for me, it's funny that you say that you don't remember him playing for the Colts, because I always associate Tony Siragusa playing with the Colts, because that was my first memory going to I think any game at any level.
I love Jim Irsay's tweet that he sent out. The Goose squeezed 200 fun-loving years into 55! Exclamation point. He was one of the most physically strongest players I have seen in 50 years. In Greece, they would ask one question at the end of one's life: did he have passion? In Tony's case, yes, he did. When he was on, I guess Fox, when it was Fox that I think he worked on. But you could just see. I was like, that's a guy I don't want to go to dinner with, because I'm afraid that if a finger got in the way, it would be gone. He seemed like he would be a hearty eater, baby, just passionate about everything he did. But he seems like what a fun guy to be around, though, for real.
Yeah, and he was. And I didn't, unfortunately, I didn't know him personally. Obviously, he's before my time, if you will. And Dustin, you're exactly right. That was sort of my that was my indoctrination to Colts football. That run that they captivated the city, in 1995 with the captain comeback and the Ted Marchibroda and the Sean Dawkins days, and Siragusa was part of that. The run to the AFC Championship game, and Cordell Stewart stepping out of bounds and the refs missing it. Right? I mean, it's just that's still fresh as a 10-year-old kid. I mean, it's a big deal. So I think that's what helped put the Colts on the map in terms of the city, because before that it was all about the Pacers and the Knicks and the Indy 500 and IU basketball back then, still going to Final Fours and things like that. Colts were sort of, still young in the city, and that helped captivate, Colts fans and help turn it into, what it is right now in terms of Colts being by far the number one thing, in the city in terms of sports attention. So, he was a character. I mean, that's what you just kept on hearing in terms of Tony Siragusa, just a character guy. Guy that would hold court inside the locker room, always yuck it up, but he was a great community guy. He was on the Bob and Tom show. I remember listening to the Bob and Tom show on my way to school with my dad, and Tony Siragusa would be on it. I certainly, associate him with the Colts more so than the Ravens, but obviously he had a great career with Baltimore and won a Super Bowl there. So, tragic story. And I remember watching him on TV. It's just so sad that someone so full of life had to pass away, relatively young at the age of 55. He had so much more to give and a lot more to go. But I know the Colts nation is grieving his loss for sure.
And then, of course, ironically this week, also the loss of Caleb Swanigan at only 25, the former Purdue player, former Mr. Basketball in Indiana. We've talked about this a couple times, but just a sad situation when you lose anyone. It's part of life. We all know it. We all know it's coming, but it's just nothing you can prepare yourself for, man.
No, that one shook me, because he's a young guy, right? Was only 20, 25, 26 years old. I mean,
and really had battled
tragic
through a tough childhood. He had just made it. The fact that he made it to where he made it to was probably a miracle in itself, but you got to give him credit. But shout out to all that. What's coming up next for you, man? What are you doing this weekend? What's going on with you?
Got a free weekend here. Then getting ready for the 4th of July. We're very grateful that the 4th of July, within the organization is an off week, so they give us that entire week off. So it's really about R&R and recharging the batteries and hanging out with friends and family before you start the grind in late July, because it's coming. I think report day is going to be somewhere around July 25th, 26th, somewhere up there at Grand Park. And then, as we all know, then it's just on. And so you got about a month and a half here left of really the only dead time in the NFL. I say that tongue in cheek, but this is really the slowest time of the league or the year for the league, between the end of mini camp and the start of training camp. So just get in some good family time, take some trips and recharge the batteries, and then it's time to go.
Dead time. I thought he was talking about our show. Matthew, I can't thank you enough, brother. We appreciate you. We love you to death. And I hope you have a great week.
All right, guys. Enjoy the weather.
You bet. Matt Taylor from the Indianapolis Colts joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio, coming to you from the golf club at Eagle Point Studios. Eagle Point here at the clubhouse as we're preparing for Never Lose Hoop, the golf outing, Jordan Hulls Foundation. JC Hulls back there setting up right now. Everybody's kind of scurrying around me here, but looking forward to getting out and doing that. That's a shotgun start at noon, but registration's at 11 today. So that's when people will be filtering in probably right about the time show ends, thank gosh. But we got lots more coming up. The man, Dustin Schutte's with me. And we've got, Chris Denari's not up next segment, but later. Back with more. Brought to you by our good friends from Southern Stone Restaurant, all a part of the Wow Club. Make sure you go to the Wow Club, to your Apple App Store or Google Play Store, and sign up for the Wow Club. Start earning dining dollars and VIP points today. You can do that. Support those who support you. They're a supporter of IU Athletics and of Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Back with more right after this.
We'll be right back to the golf club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
The sun is out.
Hey, can you see me okay? It seems like it's lighter now.
Yeah, also there's a little bit of a crackle coming through on your mic. Will you leave and rejoin?
Will you leave and rejoin?
Playing golf today. Tebow, I'm not sure what you're referring to with the 222, but the clock number we're referring to, I'm not sure if it's the same way for you all, but in the top left corner of our screen, we have a live clock counter that just shows us how much time has passed since we started going live. Hey, I know Jim's not in here right now. I told him to hop back out because he had some crackling issues. But if he doesn't come back in and I'll have time to tell him, as soon as you all get going in this next segment, I'm going to hop out for a few minutes. So if he addresses me and doesn't know why I'm not answering, just let him know. So he said he'll be back. That probably won't happen, but if it does, just keep that in mind.
Gotcha.
I don't know why he's taking so long to rejoin. All I told him was to hop out and hop back in because he had some crackling in his microphone.
Crackling.
Crackling.
Crackle-lackling.
So you're not done moving into Gainesville. You got to keep going back and finish up, don't you?
Yeah.
That kind of sucks.
It does. This is the longest freaking move of my life.
I can't believe I saw you when you posted. You've moved in how many different locations in how many years?
This is my 10th move in 10 years. Now, I've lived at the current place for about 3 years. So, but still, man, it takes a toll on you.
We're about to come back from break. I guess we'll just – here we go. All right, Jim, we're coming back from break. Can you hear us? Okay, here we go.
Moore Honda, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer. Get more to your door with AndyMooreHonda.com.
Hey, JC.
Come see us at the all-new Andy Moore Honda, now in Bloomington.
Sit out here for just a second.
This segment is brought to you by Feast Market and Cellar. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Welcome back. It's Thursday, and it is unbelievably beautiful out here at the Golf Club at Eagle Point. And I'm here with JC Hulls, the original founder of Never Lose Hoop. Out here putting everything together, though, early on. But I just want to grab him, and I'll let him go so he can get back to getting busy. But I ordered this weather.
Hey, you did a great job. I'm going to tell you, we've been down here before, and it's been 80 degrees at 8 o'clock in the morning. So,
well,
we're in great shape.
Yesterday, I was out here, and I was like, oh, God, I hope this humidity blows out. Yeah. And it did. There's like zero humidity. It is beautiful, perfect out here today. But,
perfect day.
Ton of teams, ton of players coming out today. It's going to be a great outing. Looking forward to some players afterwards, dinner, but it's just going to be a great day, man.
It'll be great. I mean, and thank you so much for everything you've done to get it to where it's at. And, you know, it's like it's a village, and everybody's chipped in, and it's going to be great. I think we're up to 90 plus golfers now, and
wow,
which is great. Golfers, and we're going to have some fun guys coming hopefully for dinner tonight. So. Some IU guys, so that'll be great.
You hear his voice crackling. That's why I'm not going to make him talk too long. He's been out doing the Adidas camps and whatever else.
Yeah,
all the events
coming up.
Every week you hear me talk about every weekend. All this we're talking about the recruiting, all that stuff. Well, that's where he is out there setting those up.
Yeah, that's my life.
You got one coming up? Is there one this weekend?
No, July 6th through the 10th is our big Adidas event down in Rock Hill, South Carolina.
Oh yeah. The
boys and girls, the elite group of our Adidas circuit.
The elite. How happy are you guys to have Jordan back?
It's great. I tell you, it's not. I don't know if it's really sunk in yet.
Well, you probably haven't seen him much.
No, we haven't seen him much. He got home. He had like 2 or 3 days off, and then boom, he's off and hitting it, and he is loving it. Just being back in Cook, and just being with the guys and being on campus. So. We're excited. Probably more to see the grandkids than him.
Well, they don't have to eat any more worst whatever it is. I don't even know how to say it. Man, they said they had American food over there.
They did. They had really good food when we visited, so that was always good.
But that'd be a cool thing for them to be able to get that experience.
Oh, unbelievable!
At least for the two. Was it Mark? What's the young one? Margot.
Oh, Margaret. Yeah.
Margaret, yeah.
So Jackson, Leo, and Margaret. Yeah.
Leo's a character.
He's a character.
But yeah, Jordan Hull's now back on staff. And man, he went right to work when he got back.
Right to work. And he was in film sessions. He was involved with just trying to get us a handle on this recruiting, which coach has done a great job up to this point. And so he's just trying to get his feet wet. And it's 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, because recruiting has changed 1,000 ways since he was a player. The rules have changed and all that, and now having to become that. But Jordan he's just one of those guys that has that great easygoing personality, which comes across as sincere. And I think that's going to bode well. Sincerity seems to go a long way.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. And he's excited to get back and then connect with a lot of the Indiana high school coaches and just be a part of that. So,
you think any of the high school coaches know who he is in Indiana?
It's funny. He didn't think they'd remember him. I said, I think they'll probably remember you. Even
you lit their ass up. What, are you kidding me? Nobody forgets anybody who lights them up. I promise you. And a Mr. Basketball on top of that. But no, it's incredible. And how cool it is to have a Bloomingtonian. Well, actually, now I just thought of this. His grandpa was on staff on the IU basketball staff, and now he's on staff the IU basketball staff. I'm glad I was the first one to think of that.
Long time ago, yeah.
Wow, how about that? How cool is that? And you're in the coaching. You weren't on the IU staff, but you've basically been on everybody staff of your own for Adidas and every place else. But 3 generations of that. That's pretty cool. And again, for those of you who don't know, that's how Jordan ended up in Bloomington. And it's how JC ended up in Bloomington. Bob Knight's first staff from Army. brought the Halls with him.
Yeah.
So
1970. That's crazy.
Isn't it nuts?
Yeah.
And then here we are today. But I'll let you go. I know you got a lot to do, buddy.
Thanks,
Get
man.
to it.
Appreciate
We'll
it.
see you in a little bit.
All right. Looking forward
See
to
you
it.
guys. Joni's over there as well, working hard. But yeah, looking forward to having a great day out here. That's the one thing, Dustin. Next year, you've got to be here for this. And we're going to schedule it a little bit better next year. I didn't have anything to do with setting the date this year. We were just laughing that he's like, I would have never picked this date if I'm like, yeah, I know. Well, so next year is going to be even bigger. And this is the biggest they've ever had already now, but next year will be even bigger. Looking forward to it.
Well, I can mark it on my calendar next year. With the move and everything, I had it in my calendar, but with the move and everything, it just wasn't possible. But next year, I can put it in the calendar and I can be up there and we'll have a good time.
Man, I'm not in the golf club at Eagle Point Studios normally as I am, so I'm starting to write down every time I see a new name on the comments, trying to figure out so I know where they're from. John says, hey, where are you from, man? He has a cancer survivor. Oh man, I didn't see that. I wish I'd have saw that, but as a cancer survivor, thanks to JC for the Never Lose Hoop event. JC is also a cancer survivor. So thank you, John, thank you for following us, and congratulations on your battle and your win. Steve, so where's Steve from? Let's see where Steve's from. I have to write that in my book, man. Keeping a book. And yes, we got to shun John, the producer. I just always like to get to do that when I have a chance. I love shunning people. That's my new thing. That sounds like a Seinfeld episode.
It does.
I'm going to shun thee. I shun thee. I'm going to shun thee today.
It does sound like a good Seinfeld episode.
It is exactly what it is. How many times did you sit around and say, like, oh, that's a Seinfeld episode right there? Because that's all Seinfeld was. Great episodes about stupid things in life that are true.
Exactly. It's the best show about nothing. That's what I mean. And now it's on Netflix, and I've started from the beginning. So I think I haven't been able to churn through too much, but it's a great show to just sit down and watch a couple episodes, and it'll put you in a good mood.
Wyatt says he talked to Jordan Holes yesterday for about 10 minutes. He was at camp at Mike Whitson's camp. He still gets starstruck by him. He was about 10 when he played his favorite Hoosier. Steve's 10-year cancer-free. That's awesome. That is awesome, awesome, awesome to hear. And that's what this event's about, man, helping. And actually, it's helping kids, area kids with cancer and all that goes, the battles, the things that they have to fight with that, all the expenses that go with that. And 100% of the proceeds go to Never Lose Hoop. I looked at the expenses. It's like nil. And because I wanted them, like, I wanted us to hit $20,000. This is my first year being involved with them, and I'm like, I saw the numbers starting to grow and bringing in sponsors. I'm like going, man, that's doable. And so I'm like, all right, I want to hit that. Then it dawned on me. I'm like, well, wait a minute, what are the expenses? Got to get 20 plus that.
Yeah.
But I looked at the expenses and they were like negligible. I couldn't believe it. So that's another thing. They do an incredible job of having no overhead. And so all the proceeds go to Never Lose Hoop, which is awesome. So there you go. There's my tips.
Fantastic. Yeah.
What else is going on? And let's see, basketball wise, like I said, Jalen Hood-Schifino is going to be speaking today. There are going to be several of the players out here. I won't be talking to them because that's kind of it's one of those things. It's funny. The players that come out here today too, they can't eat, or Jordan has to fill out a bunch of paperwork.
Are you kidding me?
Not
with all this.
That is exactly what I said. I go, are you kidding me? In this environment, they cannot have a meal. That's like 1970s NCAA rules.
You're not kidding. Yeah,
they can't have a freaking meal. Jeez, that 90 other people are having. That's the dumbest thing. I'm like, all right, so I can buy him, so I can give him money, but I can't give him a meal.
Is it because Jordan's on staff now? Is that the reason?
If maybe because he brought them, but even if they came on their own, Maybe if they came on their own, but I don't know. I don't know. There's too many damn rules. I don't know all the rules anymore.
When you have kids, I don't see, this is what doesn't make sense. When you have kids making $1 million, signing a 2-year deal for $1 million, getting cars, all that. Yeah. What's the problem with getting a sandwich and a bag of chips, or I don't know what you guys are eating?
Yeah, well, but you can't have a box lunch. Oh no, I can't give that to you. Oh hell, that's worth $6.25.
You know what? I'll pay the fine. How about that?
Man, what do we got coming up this weekend that everybody's interested in? Let's see, NHL. Who won the game last night? Are you? Who won the game last? I'm not, but who won the game last night?
I have no idea. Great sports radio talk. Who won? I have no idea.
Well, I didn't see it. Normally I would have, but I've just been so busy with getting this scramble together. I did not see that into that score last night.
We're gonna have we might have an Indiana Sports Beat
exclusive
battle or something royale because Kevin Brockway's New York Mets, they have like a 10.5 game lead on the Braves, but Braves are knocking on the door. So
how can you be knocking on the door if you got a 10.5 game lead?
Because it's down to 4.
Oh, down to 4. Yes. Well, yeah, they cut it to 5 like a week ago.
They had a 14 game winning streak, and it was I can't remember if it was 4 or 4.5, and then the Mets won a few games, the Braves lost a few games, and it was back up to 5 or 6. And now it's back. It's either 4 or 4.5. I can't remember off the top of my head.
What would life be like in New York for the Mets if they lose that lead?
Again, because it happened last year too. I don't remember what the lead was, but in the second half of the season, they had a sizable lead and they blew it. So, I might have to start harassing Kevin on this show. I might start chiming in when you guys are on together and asking about that lead slipping away.
Oh yeah, the Mets. Well, everybody was thinking the Mets and the Yankees in the World Series.
Oh God. Can we
Subway Series?
I was gonna say, I remember the Subway Series. What was that, like 2000 or 99 or something? It was around that time.
Well, they've had a couple, back in the old days.
I only remember the only one I remember is that one. And
the Brooklyn Dodgers. I'm talking back in the old days. The Brooklyn Dodgers. Pee-wee Reese from Louisville played for them. I went to his house once, and when I was working in TV down there, and just a regular old, modest home. But anyway, we're down in the basement, and he's got these 2 wooden racks that are screwed up to the wall that hold bats. And they each had about, 6, 7, 8 bats on those racks. Those bats were from playing with Jackie Robinson and...
Really?
Oh, dude, he started second base with Jackie Robinson. Yes, it was nuts. And I'm like, I'm just touching that bat. I'm like, I'm touching history. It was crazy. So
that's awesome.
Wyatt's going to head up to the Charlie Hughes. That is a gigantic event. Is that this weekend? Yeah, this weekend. Over 100 varsity teams attending that. Everybody that's anybody in Indiana will be up there. The Hoosier.com will be up there. You can have complete coverage there if you go to the Hoosier.com, and they'll be covering all of the prospects that are playing. I'd see what Xavier Booker may be up there, I think, playing this weekend. He hasn't played in the last couple, so we'll see if he is or not. But yeah, the Jalen Harrelson, Trent Sisley, Kanan Catchings, guys like that, they should all be up there. So it ought to be. That thing's usually a heck of a deal. The Charlie Hughes Shootout. They have one in Fort Wayne. We got plenty more coming up here on Indiana Sports Beat, coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point as we are preparing for the Jordan Hall's Never Lose Hoop golf outing on this absolute beautiful Thursday, brought to you by our good friends at Feast Market and Cellar, where they have an unbelievable selection of wines, cheeses, gourmet sandwiches, and a sommelier on staff to help you with your pairings for that great dinner. Back with more Indiana Sports Beat Radio right after this.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Andy Moore Honda.
Are you frozen, Dustin? Oh, there you are.
No, I'm just watching golf.
Golf.
Watching this
makes whole live stuff.
What's that?
What do you think of the whole live situation?
You know what? How do I say this? I don't think it's sustainable by the amount of money they're giving these players with almost zero incentive. And the format does not appeal to me. However, I do think that it's going to force the PGA Tour to, well, it already has, force the PGA Tour to kind of change its format a little bit. And I think if a lot of these guys go to live, I think it's going to create more opportunities for guys on that Corn Ferry Tour and at the lower levels. So I think...
So it's almost like they're boycotting the way that it's currently run so they can get better things from it.
Yes. I mean, I don't think that's Lib's main goal is to force the PGA Tour to change. Like, I think they want to win this battle, but I think the PGA Tour is going to make enough changes to where it's going to, I just don't see how, when you're paying guys $150 million, $200 million for 18 events, I don't see how that's going to last. I mean, I guess where the money's coming from, they have a limitless supply, but they had, like, as much as I love golf, you're not going to get the same viewership, I don't think.
Yeah.
It's fast. That's one of the things, like I said, I love writing about it. And that's one of the reasons why I love this new job. So I haven't been able to write about it 4 or 5 times already.
I saw where Tyler's moving up to Louisville.
Yeah, he is. He is.
We have to find out where he's going to be at. See how
There
close
you go.
he does.
You guys can rekindle a friendship.
I know. I haven't talked to him in years. I mean, I say years. It's probably been like 3 or 4 years. It's not like it's been a long, long time.
I actually talked to him just 6 months ago.
Man, that was perfect timing, huh?
It was. We got about 30 seconds.
You need
Great,
Cheryl
Charlie.
Sizemore from Remax Advanced Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in you getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl Sizemore from Remax Advanced Realty at cheryl@indyhomepros.com or 317-298-0961. Cheryl Sizemore from Remax Advanced Realty. Let Cheryl Sizemore get you in the home you want today. Cheryl@indyhomepros.com.
This segment is brought to you by Courtroom Sports Grill in Bedford. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Welcome back. Hope you're having a great start to the day. Hope we're helping you out with that. It is certainly unbelievably beautiful here in central Indiana, and hopefully it is where you are. Dustin's in Gainesville, Florida, so I know it's beautiful there. What's the weather like there?
Well, I'm still in Kennesaw at the moment. I moved the rest of my stuff in, but it's still, I don't know, it's probably 80 degrees out, sunny. It's probably a lot more humid than it is there. But that doesn't bother me. I lived in Florida for a couple years before the move, and I'm obviously moving back. So the humidity doesn't bother me. I prefer that to temperatures below 40 degrees.
College World Series. Where are we in that? Let's see. Ole Miss lost 3-2 Wednesday night against Arkansas. So they still have a loss that they can give. They've got to, let's see, 1 victory from a berth in the best of 3 champions. So they've got to beat Arkansas. So the winner of this next game takes on so Oklahoma's already in the finals, I guess.
I guess I've been following the Jello shot competition more than I have been the College World Series.
The what? Jello shot competition.
Yeah, they have like all the teams have. Hey, how's it going?
He said, "Hey, how are you doing?" He can't hear you, but I'll
I'm doing excellent, Dustin. I'm missing your golf hat. This is a good occasion for it, or your bucket hat.
Oh yeah, I should have pulled it out of that. Yeah, I should have pulled that out. Good call.
I should have went and got my Adidas. I got an Adidas bucket hat. I should have got that today, but
he's got Keegan's got the sunglasses behind the. He looks like a pro golfer right now.
Exactly. Hey, he's except for those are not golf course glasses that he's got on though.
What are they?
He's got these fancy, like I'm going out to meet a chick glasses on.
I'm not good enough at golf to have golf glasses. I just try to look as good as possible. Yeah,
these are
for fishing, so they can stand here.
There you go. Those are golf glasses, baby. And I don't need to turn around and put them on the back of my head because I've got a strap. And they'll just sit wherever I want them to.
Oh yes, there we go. That's the Champions Tour look.
Champions Tour. That's not probably where I belong, but Keegan Nickoson sitting in, joining us now. It's just an all-out thing. Keegan's going to play today as well out here at the Jordan Holes Never Lose Hoop. What's your golf game like? Keegan played baseball in college. Where'd you play?
I played at Danville Area Community College in Illinois. So
is that a certified school?
Yes, it's NJ.
Is that an accredited?
It's NJCAA. It's 2-year school in a tiny little pass by town you would pass by when you're on your way to Chicago. But
so if you hit a long fly ball, it's out of the city limits.
Basically, yeah. Higher murder per capita in Danville than Chicago. That's one interesting fact. Yeah, absolutely. It was bad. It was not.
Are you kidding me?
College. Yeah.
Wow. That was a stat I was not prepared for.
Well, that's this show, Jim. You shouldn't be surprised with anything coming up.
Oh, I'm not surprised with anything. That was one I was not prepared for. But
my golf game is basically if I break 100, I'm happy. So it's really low standards.
Man, I did that the other day.
There are 26.5 murders for every 100,000 people in Danville, Illinois.
Yeah, and what's Chicago's?
Hold on. Let me type this into the Google machine here.
This is the new tight information we're going out here today.
Why does it not? Well, it popped right up for Danville. I'm going to do some research here.
I've been really into golf. And then because I work from 2:30 to 1 a.m.
Well, if we're going to speak about golf, this live thing is not going away.
No, they just got Brooks. And I told Dylan they were probably going to go after Brooks. So.
Well, yeah, I think they want that more for the Brooks Koepka, Bryson DeChambeau thing. I don't know if they're going to try to play that up because they've got no drama right now. There is no drama on the LIV tour. And that's another thing. First of all, the name is stupid. I get what it means, and I love and I like that, but you can't call it live. It's not live. It's not an LI. It's not letters. They're Roman numerals.
Do you know one of the funniest tweets I saw on Live was
you just called it live.
I'm going to continue to call it live. The 54. How about that? One of the funniest things about the 54 is that it's 3 rounds, right? And somebody brought up the point. How many tournaments would Greg Norman have won in his career if it was just 3 rounds?
Oh yeah, but you can say that about a lot of people. Jack Nicklaus.
Yeah, but it's funny that his golf tour is only 3 rounds.
Right, that's funny. Here's a great stat. How many majors did Jack Nicklaus have? 18.
Yes.
I think he had 17 runner-ups. It's an astounding number. He has got an unbelievable. You can look it up if you want. I'm telling you, it's 15, 16, or 17 runner-ups in majors. That is That's ludicrous.
Oh, wow. He had more runner-ups than he had majors. He had 19.
19 runner-ups and 18 majors.
Top 5 finishes was 56. That's unbelievable.
So if anybody ever wants to talk about Tiger Woods again, they can forget it. He was not the greatest golfer ever.
Stop.
He is the greatest golfer of his generation. Look what Nicklaus did.
How many tour victories did Nicklaus have? Total tour victories.
I'm becoming a research guru here. Jack
Come on,
Nicklaus.
Jamie. Pull it up, Jamie.
Nobody cares about tour victories. It's the majors, baby. It's where it's where the big boys are at. It's where the courses are the toughest.
Jack Nicklaus has 73 all-time PGA Tour victories. That's third all-time. Hold on. I don't know. It didn't.
Wow, third all-time. I'm interested to find out.
Tiger Woods is tied for first with 82.
Who's he tied with?
Sam Snead.
Ooh, Sam Snead. Back in the
Sam
old
Snead.
days.
Ben Hogan is fourth.
You know who Sam Snead is?
I've heard the name.
I've eaten at his restaurant.
Yeah.
Ben Hogan fourth, Arnold Palmer fifth, Byron Nelson sixth.
Yeah, those are all those guys, and they were using crap equipment, man. Crap balls, crap clubs. They didn't have graphite shafts and all that stuff.
That's true, but the distances on these holes are probably a lot longer and maybe even a lot more difficult than they were back then.
Having to putt over the prairie dog holes. So the NBA is over. The NHL, have you watch NHL at all?
No, I've been hearing about it. I thought the Lightning was
What are you doing? You know you work in the sports business, right? He's not watching anything.
The sport that I'm paying attention to is 15 and 16-year-olds playing basketball on the weekends.
Well, that's fun.
That's what I cover.
Well, the Charlie Hughes is coming up this weekend up in Indianapolis, and you're heading up there, correct?
Yes. There's a chance for a lot of movement in terms of rankings and momentum for these younger guys because we're going to have Xavier Booker playing against Jalen Harrelson and Xavier Booker playing against Flory Badunga. So it's going to be some really good matchups. And Badunga and Harrelson can really submit themselves if they put together a good showing. So it's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to that. And getting to see the white whale in person, Alec Lasley, if his flight leaves on time, because it's been pushed back twice. He was supposed to be here today, but he's not going to be.
It's always something. But, that's going to be a big-time event up there. You talk about games. Where all is that taking place?
Carmel and Westfield, I think. I know that's at least two of them, but
I don't even know how many games there will be, but it is a lot of basketball that you can see. And then, as you heard J.C. Halls say when he was on a little bit ago, after that, then the rest that we have here at the end, you're going towards July or the finishes, the Peach Jam, the Adidas Gauntlet, and whatever Under Armour calls theirs. They're all down in that same area, or except for Under Armour's.
Under Armour's in Chicago.
Yeah, the other two are down near each other.
Adidas is in Atlanta, and then
I think it's Peach Jam's in Atlanta.
Peach Jam's in North Augusta, South Carolina.
Oh, okay.
It's at some Lake Riverside indoor facility. It's just some massive place where there's a bunch of basketball courts, but super beautiful area. I'll be down there too.
North Augusta. I may have to go down there and just stop in and play a few rounds.
Yeah, I want to find a day where I don't have a game until 1, and then I can wake up at 7 and go play 9 holes.
At Augusta?
I mean, you've got all the connections. Can you get me in?
Man, I couldn't get in to mow the grass at Augusta.
I think it's closed now, isn't it? Because it's only open for a couple months.
Really? They have members, you know.
Have you ever applied?
I know, but I think
I have not.
I can't remember. They have an incredibly short season where you can actually play the course, though. Like it's unbelievably short, especially for being in Georgia.
I did not stack my team today. As a matter of fact, I was hoping to do just that, but I ended up volunteering to play with someone else, and so that. But oh well, it's not about winning.
His day's already ruined.
It's not about winning. It's not about winning. I said it's all about just having fun, and I will. You know what? As long as I play well, I don't care. I'm just worried about improving my game. I'm tired of sucking.
Do you know what the format is?
Yeah, you take this white ball and you put it on a tee into the ground and you draw it, and then you have to address the ball.
Shut up. Is it a four-man? Is it par max for the scramble?
I'm either going to do a par max or bogey max. What do you think? What do you all think?
You're just deciding right now?
Yeah.
I would say bogey max. It's not.
I do too because it's not fair for someone to get a legit par and
right.
Jack legs be out there scuffing the ball over the place.
If
saying
you're
he
doing
got a par
four-man scramble and you can get a legit par, then you should be able to get it. It's not about who gets pars; it's about who gets birdies. And if someone's good, they're going to shoot minus 12 as a group.
Yeah, but I like that. I'm
minus 12 is general. I mean, there are teams that probably shoot minus 17 out there, I would guess.
Yeah. The last outing I went to, the winner shot like a 58.
Well, I've already been told who's going to win this.
Who?
Who makes the largest donation?
There is a team that has a gentleman on it by the name of Craig Bowden, I believe. And he is a former PGA Tour player.
Yeah, well, that's going to be fun. Hopefully I'm with them.
You're not. I know that. Neither am I. Trust me.
Wait, did you just sign up, Keegan, and you don't know what team you're on?
No,
he did it for me.
No, he's just.
I'm just here because I like playing golf. It's a beautiful day.
Yeah.
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
I'm definitely not complaining.
He just has it's out and about and having a great, just enjoying a great day. But as far as Indiana's recruiting, I want to make sure we don't go into a break here.
4 minutes.
It is at about as high a place right now, I think, that it can be. Not that they can't land. They're not going to land 5-star, 5-star, 5-star. Nobody does that. But their recruiting it's as high as you can get. They're landing the guys that they're trying to land. That did not happen for a 4-year period. We know, maybe longer. They're able to be more selective, and that is been critical in this upcoming season and the seasons after that. Mm-hmm. And it's not just. And next year, everybody's looking forward to because Trace Jackson Davis is going to be there. But I don't know. They could possibly be better the year after that.
Yeah,
depending on who fills his shoes. But because of all the other pieces coming together at a later time, I just know they got a lot of great pieces on that team right now.
That's the sign of a really good coaching staff is how you can keep a good team together even when you lose that generational talent like Trace and Race. But it's like you said with the 5-stars, they're really going after with an intent some of the best top 20 players in the country. And before it might have just been like, we'll throw our name in the hat. Maybe we can get lucky. Maybe he just likes us. But Alex said it when I was on the show last. He said he's treating some of these recruits as you should want to come and play here. I want you to come and play here, but I'm not going to cave as a head coach and get on my knees and beg, because that's the standard he's setting for Indiana, because that's what he thinks it always should have been. When he got here, he said, it's my job to return Indiana to one of the best teams in the nation. And I think that's what he's doing, honestly. You look at Liam McNeely, KJ Evans, trying to think of other 5-stars. We're going to be high for Jalen Harrison because he's in state, Xavier Booker. These are all guys that are going to be top 25 prospects. Some of them already are. But they're going to be cemented in the running for a lot of 5-stars. So
And that's what makes a winning team, that and the coaching and playing together. And that's another thing that these guys seem to be gelling again. But having talent on a team, sure, you generally brings happiness. Winning solves a lot of things.
Yeah.
And people are generally happier, period, when you're winning. And I don't see a lot of selfishness on this team. I think that these guys are going to play extraordinarily well together. Xavier played well. I mean, he did not play selfishly last year, especially at the end of the season. He was successful
that he did
early on, but at the end of the season, he was playing at a high level, and I don't think it was selfishly. I think he was probably doing more than a point guard needed to be doing, but that wasn't his fault. It was because of a lack of a help at the 2 spot. But I think they're just going to be so much stronger all the way around that it's really going to be interesting to see what they could do.
I just really want that North Carolina matchup in Assembly Hall.
And you just managed. Pete Nance just transferred there. Yeah. What does that do for them?
I mean, they were already the undisputed best team in the country, and now they're even more the undisputed best team in the country because they got Big Ten, all Big Ten guys. So, I mean, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. And if we can get an ACC Big Ten challenge in Assembly Hall against the #1 North Carolina team, I was talking to Kyler about this. I think that would by far be the biggest game in Bloomington since Kentucky. I don't see how there would be anything else. He was talking about like Michigan State when they were 1. They're a Big Ten team. You play them like at least every other year.
Well, Indiana, the last time North Carolina came to Bloomington, Indiana blew them out.
Yeah.
And Roy Williams just raved about the Simon Scott Assembly Hall crowd afterwards, saying he wished that they could have a crowd like that at the Dean Dome for games other than Duke.
Yeah.
So there's that. It's going to be an exciting. I mean, Indiana, you're going to learn a lot quick with this Indiana team because of the schedule. Arizona, Kansas, potentially North Carolina, potentially Villanova. Lots to get to. Hey, we got more coming up here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio, brought to you by good friends from Courtroom Sports Bar and Grill down in Bedford. A part of the WOW Club. Make sure you go to your Google Play Store or Apple App Store and join the WOW Club. Sign up there for us. Support those who support you. They're an IU athletic supporter and a supporter of Indiana Sports Beat Radio. We're back with more. Chris Denari joins us next, right after this.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
That'd be relaxing.
Whether you're visiting
Good morning, Chris.
Hey, Dustin, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Going to be a long day for you?
Yeah, busy day. We've got a draft party at Sun King in Carmel. There's an outdoor area with a big screen. So we've got a season ticket holder event there. And then at District Tap on 82nd, they've got a general Pacers fan party there. So, yeah, it's going to be I mean,
that's awesome.
It'll be interesting to see what happens. You start listening and reading about all scenarios and your head just starts, spinning.
I know. It's like a reality TV for sports fans. I mean, I've seen so much stuff. I don't pay too much attention because some of the stuff gets so wild and all the rumors and everything. But
yeah. Well, and then, so many of the trades that are formulated by people are one-sided. It's for what they want. They're, the whole Russell Westbrook stuff is like, I mean, it makes sense for one team.
Right, exactly. But I guess that's what it gets a lot of people excited. They do that with I guess the NFL is a little bit like that, but there's so many draft choices that this is almost hit or miss, right?
I think I've talked about this even during the season with some of the, the Brian Windhorse and all those guys that cover it. Sometimes the actual minutia of trades and free agency overwhelms the games, even during the season.
Right.
You know, people are so focused on all those things that could possibly happen that, you know, there's some pretty good games going on. And maybe that's because of the length of the regular season. I mean, a little bit you see in baseball, you know, right about now, you're sort of in the dog days and, you know, what team's going to sell, what team's going to buy. So I understand it from that standpoint, but sometimes it does get a little overwhelming.
Right. Yeah.
It's easier for people to do that because they're not necessarily X and O's people, right? I mean, it's easier to speculate on trades and that type of thing than it is to, you know, how are you going to go to the pick and roll and, you know, how are you going to do this or that?
10 seconds, guys. I think Jim. If Jim doesn't come back, oh, here he is.
There he is.
Andy Moore Honda, now in Bloomington.
This segment is brought to you by Remax Advanced Realty, Indy Home Pros team by Cheryl Sizemore. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Welcome back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point. Sitting right next to the fountain, baby. I don't know if it's too light to light probably. If I walk outside into the light, can you actually see it?
Yeah. It's like you're doing a promotional tour.
There we go. Now
and that music, I like that music that's playing, Jim, because it does sound like a promotional for the golf course.
Coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point. Here you go. Welcome to Chris Denari. Nothing going on with you, I guess, Chris. Kind of an easy, laid-back night tonight.
Yeah, probably one of the busier nights of the year, no question about it. And I know there's a lot of excitement as far as Pacers fans are concerned because this is going to go a long way, maybe a short way in determining, you know, what's going to happen over the course of the next 2 to 5 years. You've got 3 draft picks right now, number 6, number 31, number 58. So you have 3 potential additions. Again, there's all kinds of talk swirling about potential moves the Pacers could make with those players on their current roster, but you never know what is a smokescreen and what is real. I think as we move along into the afternoon and into the early evening, just prior to the draft, you know, maybe we'll get some signs from teams of what they're thinking. I mean, we've already seen in the last 24 hours, the Portland Trailblazers make a significant move to add Jeremy Grant to their roster. And I think what it says about Portland is they've got Damian Lillard and they want to play and get into the playoffs right now. And so draft picks are not as important to them. So maybe they use number 7 to trade to even get another veteran because they feel like they're in a win now mode. So it's going to be a very interesting night. You know, I think for all Pacers fans, it's an exciting night because of what transpired this past year. You know, one of the poorest records in franchise history, just 25 wins. So it's always good, Dustin, when you are a Pacers fan and we're at 0-0 right now, heading into the next year.
Well, and I was going to say, I think what makes this year and tonight a little bit different for Pacers fans is typically we're on the side of can the Pacers get a steal in the NBA draft because they haven't had a single digit selection in decades. And so tonight it feels more like, okay, who's going to be the guy the Pacers trust to maybe get to that next level, to who's going to be a key part in this rebuild. And I think when you look at some of the names that have popped up, Jaden Ivey, Keegan Murray, Benedict Mathurin out of Kansas, like there's a lot of really good options the Pacers have. It's going to be interesting to me to see who's available, where they're going. I think you have a better idea maybe of who the Pacers are targeting. But again, to me, it feels different because you feel like this player is going to be a key part of what they're trying to build and what they're trying to do in the future, as opposed to, hey, can the Pacers get a steal at 18? Can they get a steal at 21? Can they get a steal at 14?
And especially if you look at what they've now done over the last 2 years, and I'm going to throw Tyrese Halliburton into the mix because he'll be a third-year player. He was a lottery pick 2 years ago for Sacramento. He's one of your starters. Chris Duarte, who you got as number 13, is one of your starters. And Isaiah Jackson could easily be one of your starters. if you are to add to that with the number 6 pick and get another starter, that means out of the last 3 drafts, you would potentially have 4 of your 5 starters. So I think that's important for the Pacers moving forward, trying to link all of their guys together from a experience standpoint, from a contract standpoint. They have a significant amount of cap room heading into the summer that they can use in a trade, that they can use in free agency, because I think they want to mix. I think they want a majority of young players in this rebuild, but you want to also maybe add a veteran here. And it could be somebody like Miles Turner staying. We don't know. I mean, Miles has said, I'd love to stay because I'd love to play with Tyrese Halliburton. But I think it gives, as Kevin Pritchard said probably a month ago, it gives the Pacers a lot of optionality. And I think that's what you want heading into the draft and into free agency. You want to have a lot of options. And to your point, Dustin, over the last few years, they haven't had those options necessarily, right, because they've been locked into a 18, 19, 20 pick. And then you do have to have some luck and weave some magic. They are going to get a very good player at 6. I don't know who that's going to be. A lot will be determined by what happens in front of them, but they surely are going to get somebody that will be a very important piece moving forward.
And I'd like to try to project some sanity onto any Pacers fans listening, because I remember last year, Chris.
Does that mean that I'm going to get drafted?
I mean, that I said projection, some reality, not in a dream world here. I remember going back to last year, Chris Duarte getting drafted. That caused a lot of stir. There weren't a lot of Pacers fans that were excited about it. And in his first game with the Pacers, I mean, he had an incredible performance. He was a really good selection. He brought some maturity with him. I know he was an older player at Oregon, but he brought that maturity that the Pacers kind of needed, especially considering all the injuries they had and the transactions they made. So whoever they get, I think it's important to remember that this is a team that, not saying they can't make the playoffs, not say they can't, make some surprising moves during the season, but this is for a long term. This is not necessarily going to reap immediate benefits. So I think that, like you said, Chris, whoever they get at number 6, they have a lot of trust. They've proven that they can draft in the middle of the draft and have success. This is for a long-term future, not necessarily 2022-23 success.
Yeah, and I'll go back to 2010. And again, part of the reason the Pacers have these draft parties that are not at Gainbridge Fieldhouse is because it's under construction, the 3rd phase of the renovation. So I'll be at a party in Carmel at Sun King, where they have the big screen television. They have the community area. Then there's also a place at District Tap on 82nd Street. That's where a number of Pacers fans will be. The reason I say that, back in 2010, we had a major draft party coming off 4 seasons of not making the playoffs. And with the number 10 pick, the Pacers took Paul George. A lot of people had no idea who Paul George was. He played at Fresno State, very rarely appeared on television. If he did, he was playing on ESPN or ESPN2 at midnight. So a lot of Pacers fans walked away from that draft, I think, a little bit disappointed because they did not know who he was. I think we all know who Paul George was and is. Yeah. You think about 2012, 13, 14, the Pacers went to the Eastern Conference semifinals in 12. They went to the Eastern Conference finals in both 2013 and 2014. Paul George was a huge reason why. So I think you have to look at things. I've watched some of the workouts. I've sat with the scouts. I've sat with staff people. They do a tremendous amount of work, not just in May and June in scouring video, but throughout the entire year. And as Ryan Carr, the senior VP for player development, said the other day, what a player does in his workout coming to Gainbridge Fieldhouse is not the only thing we evaluate. We evaluate everything. And so that's why I think this process is very interesting to follow.
Great question here from Chris for a lot of people. but it says, sorry for the lack of knowledge, but how often does a first-round draft choice actually make an impact in their first year? My answer would be it depends on which end of that round we're talking about, because a lot of times those guys at the top, like we've seen a line kind of between the top 4 and the guys below them in this particular draft. Does not mean that that's going to be the case, but there always seems to be a line in this first round.
Yeah, I mean, Zion made an impact, even though he's been hurt. This year, I think Ja Morant in his first year elevated Memphis to a different level, and we saw that this year. I mean, go back, I hate to say it, go back 40 years, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird clearly made an impact on their franchises in the first year. Michael Jordan, those types of things. I'd have to go back through these last number of drafts just to see what kind of impact these first-round draft picks has made. But I think, to Jim's point, normally, if you're one of those top 5 picks, you're probably moving right into the starting lineup and you're doing something for your franchise if they need it that hasn't been done in some time.
Well, they're putting a lot of money and they're guaranteed contracts, and those are not cheap contracts.
No, but I think the one thing that I like that the NBA did, in maybe agents and players didn't, but remember back in the day, remember when Glenn Robinson came out? There was no cap on a rookie deal. Now it's all slotted. If you're pick number 1, you get this. If you're pick number 5, you get this. If you're 15, if you're 28, if you're 30. And so, back in the day, a draft pick came out and he could negotiate whatever deal he could get, high or low. So now I think from a money standpoint, where you really prove yourself is with that first contract. And then after year 4, can you turn that into a max deal at your level? And so I think that's one of the things that the NBA and the NFL they've done is that they've created that tier system. So while there's still pressure on you as a top draft pick, the pressure is a lot different than it was 20, 30 years ago when some of these guys signed mammoth contracts and there was no way as a rookie you could live up to that number.
Chris, you said you've been around some of these workouts and talked to guys, and I'm not asking you to say who you think the Pacers are going to draft, but is there any guy or a couple guys who stood out to you, made a big impression when you had the chance to talk to them, or maybe some of the guys that stood out that made – to me, there's always a guy that's a surprise. Like Malachi Branham out of Ohio State is a guy who was probably projected as a second-round pick early in the year, and now some people are saying he's a lottery pick. Has there been any guys that either you've talked to or that you've heard through the grapevine that have really stood out during this draft workout process to the Pacers?
Well, I didn't see the Dyson Daniels workout, but I've heard throughout the NBA that he's a guy that is, out of Australia, was in the G League last year, has been really impressive. He's very athletic. He's a really good defender, and I think a lot of teams are looking for that. I was impressed watching and hearing from Johnny Davis. Now, he's a guy that doesn't expect, I think, to be in that top 7, but he could be anywhere from 8 to 12. And there's been some speculation that the Pacers may try to get a second first-round pick. There are some teams possibly looking for, a veteran point guard. Does Malcolm Brogdon fit the bill? You've heard all those kinds of things. Could the Pacers get a second pick in the lottery? And then, maybe that's an AJ Griffin or a Johnny Davis. I mean, we'll just have to wait and see. But I think you've seen a lot of movement, with players as they work out, as teams have a chance to visit with them. This is a very impressive list of players. And a lot of people look at it, maybe there's a top 3 and 4, and then there's a breakaway, and then maybe 5 through 15 are all the same. So I think that's why there are a number of teams in that 10 to 15 category that really feel like they're going to get a better than a complimentary player in the first round.
And it may not necessarily be this season, but it may be a guy that it's next year. That because there always is that guy. You're like, where did he come from? What? And all of a sudden they blossom. And some guys are not. It takes them a year or two to get that acclimation. and then it happens. But go ahead, Dustin.
Yeah, well, I was just gonna chime in and just say that's kind of what I don't want to say aggravates me, but I almost laugh when people say, "Yeah, you got your top four, then there's a break, then there's." By that standard, Paul George would have never been a star. Like that, you can't evaluate. There's injuries that happen. There's some guys don't fit with the team. Some guys just don't pan out for whatever reason. So it takes time. Like every year we always talk about. I think every year it's whatever the number is. There's a top four, there's a top two, there's a top eight, whatever the case might be. When look at Lance Stevenson, look at Manu Ginobili, look at some of these other guys that are selected late first round, early second round. That's why it's a draft, right? You just never know. There's no guarantees with it.
Well, I mean, you look, the Pacers got Duarte at 13 last year, and I'm not going to compare him to the previous 13s, but there are two guys that went 13 that I think if you redid the drafts in their years, they wouldn't be 13. They'd probably be top 5. And that's Donovan Mitchell in Utah, and it's Devin Booker in Phoenix. I mean, those are two all-star level players that were taken one pick away from not being in the lottery. So to your point, Dustin, there's so much that it's a roll of the dice. You do your homework. You can do all the intel that you want, but oftentimes, things happen. To your point, the fit is not what you had hoped it would be. Think about Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole just won a championship with Golden State. He was a pick in the late 20s. The fit alongside Klay Thompson and Draymond Green and Steph Curry was perfect. What if he would have been in Detroit? What if he would have been in Atlanta, in Charlotte? We don't know how good he would have been. But going to a team like Golden State where he didn't have an immense amount of pressure on him, and think about it, 2 years ago he played on a team, they won 15 games. So you just never know. That's why it makes the night so exciting. And, at 8 o'clock tonight, when it all gets underway, then we'll know what direction it's going to go.
Well, you can let them know that I am still available, and I will assign a 2-way contract. I'll save them some money. So no, just kidding. But anyway, we're looking forward to it, and we'll look forward to getting to talk to you next week about who it is and what direction we're going. So
all right.
Thanks, guys. What's coming up next for you, brother?
Just that. Then tomorrow we'll have a chance to meet the draftee or draftees. We don't know what's going to happen. Will the Pacers have 3? Will they have 1? But we'll have a chance to do that. There's a 2:00 press conference set for tomorrow at Gainbridge Fieldhouse with a chance to meet the new members of the Pacers. So we have that, and then look forward to next week, and then the following week we head to Michigan for a week for a nice week of vacation. So that's on the board coming up.
Sounds beautiful. Chris Denari, Indiana Pacers. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
All right, thanks, guys.
You bet. Coming to you from the golf club at Eagle Point here, getting ready for the Never Lose Hoop golf outing for Jordan Hulls. As we're getting closer to that, we've got to take one more break before we come back. Brought to you by our good friends at Remax Realty. If you're in the market for a home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore and her 2 decades of experience. It could be the difference between you getting the home you want or not. Reach out to her, Cheryl, at IndyHomePros.com. Back with more with Dustin Schutte and Jim Coyle right after this.
We'll be right back to the golf club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Whether you're visiting
the sweet sound of birds chirping.
It sounds like Augusta National out there.
I may end up having a client. I don't know that. Wherever you. I've got one more segment that I've got to do, but I don't know if I'm like, I'm a Tom one to that stop sign, and I'm not kidding. I want everybody to have it.
We have the never lose right there. Time this is so they take off. It's kind of cool as well, but not corporate.
I just got 20 more minutes. I got to do it. I can't believe it sounds as good with these stupid headphones as it does.
That's
all the money that we spend on equipment, and yet can't get Brockway to figure out how to use headphones. I've never seen anybody have trouble using a pair of headphones. First of all, he didn't have any, so I had to give him a pair. And then
he is the definition of you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
You can't teach an old dog no tricks. Here's what he looks like every time, Dustin. Here it is. Here's one falling out. Oh. The whole time he's sitting there doing this. The whole time. I'm like,
I hope he's watching right now.
I do too. There's an R and an L on them. I don't know. I think he thinks it's for receptacle and leftover or something.
Does he have? Does he use the one with the cord, or does he have wireless?
Are you kidding me? I had to give these wireless. Are you out of your mind?
I think he still uses the road map to travel, like a physical map.
We were going to Chicago for
15 seconds. You can
something.
If you want to talk about this on air, you can.
I will, because I always make fun of him about this.
All right.
If we're not on a station where you live, we should be. Ask for Indiana Sports Beat Radio. This segment is brought to you by BB's Market in Bloomington. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Speed Radio, here on this beautiful Thursday, coming to you from the clubhouse at the Golf Club at Eagle Point, getting ready for Never Lose Hoop golf outing, Jordan Hull's foundation, making money for area kids with cancer. Dustin Schutte with me as always on this Thursday. Just finished up with Chris Denari. Who do you think the Pacers end up with?
I don't know. I feel like it's been pretty consistent with Benedict Matt. I don't know how you pronounce his last name. Mathurin. It seems pretty consistent that he's been the name kind of since the end of the college basketball regular season and into this draft week, that he's been the guy that they've been talking about. So I wouldn't be surprised by him. I think there's a real chance that Jaden Ivey is selected. I'd like to see that with Tyrese Halliburton in the backcourt. I think that would be a pretty dynamic 1-2 punch out of the backcourt. So those would be my two guesses. Now, I mean, obviously we can see a lot of trades. We can see a lot of those guys might be taken by that point. I don't know, but those would be the two guys I think the Pacers are most likely to walk away with.
There was Tom Brady released a video of him working out with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers from an unusual angle. It's a bit jarring to watch. There's a lot of forehead involved. How much? Well, Brady claimed TikTok viewers were calling it the Peyton angle. Oh, that's one of the greatest lines. Eli Manning on their Manning podcast, he said, he was talking about his forehead. He's, man, you don't have a forehead. You've got a 5 head, man.
That's pretty good.
But the bagels have arrived. There's Ed from bringing the bagels, Buffalo's. Ed Schwartzman, I see him arriving, bringing the bagels. If I get his attention, I'll have to get him over here. But everybody knows Ed. But hey, Ed, when you get done, I want you to stop by.
Good morning.
How's it, Big Ed?
Jimmy Coyle.
How are you, brother?
Jimmy Coyle. Good morning.
He's bringing the bagels, man. Oh boy. Only thing would be better than that if he had a bucket full of wings with him too. He'd bring some wings. But man, I don't know what Psalms is making, but it's driving me absolutely insane having to sit here and smell this. It smells like some kind of unbelievably good barbecue or something. And I'm starving. I have not eaten. I didn't have dinner last night. I forgot. Was running late. Didn't have breakfast. And I have had to sit here for 2.5 hours and smell this, and it is absolutely driving me crazy. But
we need to clock your 40 time from the bench to the buffet.
You put food on there, and it's definitely going to increase. That would be funny. I wonder what I could even run a 40 in now. I'm sitting watching the other night some sports, and I'm just leaning back and just laughing, going, I used to be able to do all of that. There was a baseball game on, there was a basketball game on. I'm like, I used to be able to do all that. Could play that. It's like, it's over, baby. It's over. It sucks. Yeah. But I'm like thinking, oh my God, the fastest I ever ran was a 4.640. And I'm like, I wonder if I could run like a 2640 right now. Holy cow.
Just keep it under 6 seconds would be my goal.
I don't know that I could do that right now.
I don't know if I could either.
I seriously, I mean, that's no joke. That's crazy. It's nuts.
They might need if I tried to do that, they might need to bring out the oxygen tank because I'd be laying on the ground, arms sprawled out, doing the starfish.
Hey, as the summer is upon us, and we've had several people say this week, I'll ask them what they're up to. Not a lot going on. This is probably the slowest time of year, although we've still got, I guess, the Peach Jam and the Adidas Gauntlet and all that stuff coming up in July. And that will lead us into football, but there's just going to be that little hole there. We need to have the peeps tell us what are some segments we need to do over the summer. We're supposed to do. Oh wait a minute, what were we supposed to do today?
Well, it was. I remember it was guilty pleasure movies. What's your favorite guilty pleasure movie?
Well, we've got enough time left to do that. So,
and I want to preface this.
Yes, please do.
By saying that. It's not a movie that you watch constantly. Like somebody chimed in on Twitter, somebody chimed in Top Gun. I'm like, that is not a guilty pleasure movie. This is a romantic comedy. This is something you're embarrassed to tell your friends about. This is one that got
Love Actually.
That got that 20 exactly. That's a great example. 20%.
Unless you're Scott Frost, he wasn't afraid to admit that was his favorite Christmas movie.
There you go. Yes.
Love Actually.
Oh, I did it. That's what I put on there on his poll.
But there you go. You're the same as Scott Frost.
I think that movie's funny. I like it. It's got like 6 different stories going on. And those people are funny.
See, one of mine, here's 2 of mine. One is Grown Ups, which is, it's for whatever reason, it always makes me laugh, but everybody seems to hate that movie. And then the other one is I just recently watched When Harry Met Sally, and I actually liked that. I thought that
for the
Billy
first
Crystal
time?
Yeah, it was on. I don't remember if it was HBO Max or Netflix, but I watched
that movie has got to be 20 years old.
I think it was made in 1989, so it's
30 years old.
Yeah,
I've been there. All right, you know the scene where she
in the restaurant, yes.
Yeah. I've been, that's Katz's Deli in New York.
You've been there?
Oh yeah. And when you go there, they have a string holding from the ceiling holding a little plastic placard sign that says, "This is where Harry met Sally."
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
nice.
Yeah. Big old sandwiches, man. You eat those big old, oh gosh. I mean, it's a true New York deli, man. Big old pastrami, you get all that. Oh yeah.
Here's a couple of we have 3 different comments so far with movies. Tebow says The Notebook.
The Notebook. That's a good answer.
Chris Lewis says Blazing Saddles.
That's not,
Blazing Saddles.
I don't know if that qualifies because
that doesn't qualify. That's just funny as hell.
I think everybody likes that one. I think
hell yeah.
Robert Sword says
the proposal. That's a good answer.
You can't think of The Proposal without
any
thinking of
rom-com.
the,
Any rom-com counts. If it's a romantic comedy, it counts because,
the Betty White scene though, where she's like in the woods and they're doing that chant or whatever it is.
Yeah, I don't remember.
You not seen The Proposal?
I've seen it, but I don't remember that scene.
Oh well, maybe that should be one of my guilty pleasures. I've seen it enough to know that that's a funny scene.
What's your answer, JTP?
So yeah, I shared mine on your poll the other day as well. I used to be, and I still enjoy them, but I used to be really into the whole series of Tyler Perry's Medea movies.
Okay.
And specifically Medea Goes to Jail. I feel like that's a guilty pleasure movie simply because it's hard to say what I want to say without saying something I shouldn't say probably. But it's just not something that somebody like me would typically get into, I would say.
Well, I would say I don't know I don't know how to say this. Like, there are movies that are purposely made to be kind of not ludicrous, but like ridiculous. The ridiculousness. And I feel like those movies do that.
Just put that on your left.
Yeah, I would say so.
Like Talladega Nights, not Blazing Saddles, Blades of
All
Glory.
right, we got I'm interrupting. I have a special guest today, all the way from New York.
Well, technically, yes.
All the way from New York, via Bloomington, via Buffalo's.
Yes.
He had to make a bagel stop. He's bringing bagels in for us.
Correct.
Not wings today, but
correct.
But this is the famous Ed Schwartzman from Buffalo's, baby.
Thank you, Jim.
Man, it's awesome just to have you here. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
For
what a thrill! What a gorgeous day, by the way.
Oh
man, could you ask for a better day?
Nope. It's
not
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's about.
So how was your trip?
Well, it was nice. As you may or may not know, but we're opening up a new bagel store here in town in Bloomington. It's going to be called Gable's Bagels. It's going to be on 3rd Street next to Rush Hour Plaza, or next to Rush Hour in what they call the Coldstone Plaza. So we went to do a little reconnaissance. If you want to fish, you got to go where the fish are, and if you want to make good bagels, you got to see how the good guys do it. So we did a little New York trip. Me and my partner just got back about 4 a.m. last night because our flight was canceled, and here we are on a gorgeous day, and life is good.
See, he had to be here. So what
Correct.
we do is flight canceled.
That's
he
exactly
drives all night.
100%. That's exactly what happened. I said, well, I got the Jordy Hose event tomorrow. We got to get there. And we rented a car and got in at 4 a.m.
Look
at this day. Look at this day.
That's dedication. Yeah. Seriously. So remember that when you're out, you're ready to go get something to eat. Go get a Buffalo's wings, baby. I wish I had some right now.
Nice.
How you been?
Life is good. Life is
you
good.
Excited for basketball?
I am. Listen. Every year at this time, we're going to win the championship. We're a national contender. These new blue chip recruits are coming in. If you think that guy is good, this guy is better. I don't mean to sound cynical. I'm a little bit more, I've gotten jaded over the years, but obviously we look good on paper, but paper doesn't cut it. We have great reason to be optimistic. Obviously with Trace and Race coming back. I have a suggestion for you. Are you familiar? I want to say in the late 80s, early 90s, Tennessee had Bernard King and Ernie Grunfeld, and it was called the Ernie and Bernie Show.
Oh, yeah.
Why are we not doing more of the Trace and Race Show? Why is that not like in the well, I guess they've got to win. They've got to be a presence. Yeah. And then the Trace and Race Show becomes quite a thing, but it rolls off the tongue very easily. Almost as easy as Gable's Bagels.
Oh, that was perfect. You didn't have to think long for that one, though,
no,
did you?
I wrote this all out ahead of time.
He didn't. The name didn't think hard for the name. You're perfect.
Correct.
But is it the building Gables?
Yes. Well, so when we knew we wanted to open up a bagel shop, the issue was, do we want to make it a direct tie into Buffalo's, or is it a separate business? Which obviously it had to be. So I wanted to give like a subtle homage to Buffalo's, but I didn't want to call it Buffa Bagels. You know what I mean? And so I love wordplay. My favorite apps are the word apps, anything with words, Wordle, etc. I love playing Boggle, Scrabble. And so we're in the Gables building, it refers to the roof line, the Gables roof line. And Gables, scrambled, happens to spell bagels. So I was like, well, that's pretty nice. So it's a tie into the because the name of our business is Buffalo's at the Gables. Yep. So then Gables Bagels. So there's enough of a tie-in Oh, is it something to do with Buffalo Louis? And when they see the big fat yapper behind the counter with that New York accent,
Give me one of those. I'm going to get me one of those.
Now, what's the point of this thing in my ear? Just to torture
Well,
me?
that's just like another thing to hear you, but we got to close out anyway. But thank you stopping by.
My pleasure.
We're wrapping up, but we appreciate you. Make sure you stop by Buffalo Louis and see Ed. And
Thank you,
Ed. Well, thanks for the bagels as well.
Gables Bagels. You can order them right now online, gablesbagel.com. But in about a month or so, you'll be able to walk up and get one without any online nonsense at all. Just walk in and grab a bagel.
Well,
Hope to see you there.
You start getting these orders from Florida and everywhere else, it's because they're on their show. We got
Nice. But we are going to be shipping. We will be shipping. Not right away, but we are going to do an online shipping as well. So that's coming.
Our next sponsor coming, Gables Bagels.
I like it. I like it. Thank you.
And we'll have Ed on every time to do a segment.
Nice.
How's that, buddy?
Thank
you,
you.
sir. Thank you. Ed Schwartzman from Buffalo is joining us here. It's been an absolutely great day. I cannot thank everybody enough. Thanks to Matt Taylor. Thanks to Chris Denari. Thanks to my sidekick, Dustin Schutte, man. It's always a blast when he is here. It's always a fun day. Thanks to John, the producer. Most importantly, thanks to you guys. Thanks to all of you that's helped with this event. I'll get to help shouting y'all out again tomorrow, but I've got to get going. We're going to go out and have a good time and raise some money for kids. Until tomorrow, I'm Jim Coyle. I will see you on the radio.
Thanks for listening to Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page for more clips and team coverage of Indiana basketball, football, and more. You can also find full episodes and tons of other content on thehoosier.com. We'll see you next time for another edition of Indiana Sports Beat Radio.